was here in this gorge that the complete skeleton of a man that lived here 9,000 years ago was discovered at the start of the 20th century. Find out what county I'm in and where our prehistoric ancestors called home in just a few moments.
On today's show, I'm helping a retired head teacher and her husband start their new life in the country by seeking out a house to use as a B&B with a difference. Along the way, the value of one property has them gasping in disbelief.
That's unbelievable.
But later on in our search, panic sets in.
Now, size-wise, tell me, Kathy. Yeah. Today I'm in Somerset, and this is Cheddar Gorge, which was formed over thousands of years by glacial floods at the end of the Ice Age. Now, it was here in 1903 that Cheddar Man, Britain's oldest intact skeleton, was unearthed, which suggests that the hollowed out caverns inside provided shelter for our Stone Age ancestors. Now, more recently, these same caverns provide the ideal storage conditions for cheddar cheese, and I'll be getting a whiff of what's involved in that process later on. First though, here's a taste of Somerset's other historic highlights.
Sitting in the southwest of England, Somerset borders 4 other counties, including Wiltshire to the east and Dorset to the southeast. It's home to 3 upland areas of outstanding natural beauty: the Quantocks, the Blackdown Hills and the Mendips, which attract mountain bikers, walkers and horse riders. Cheddar Gorge, the biggest limestone gorge in Britain, is also a famed tourist attraction thanks to its caves, as well as being a national nature reserve. Agriculture is major business in the county. The farming of cattle and sheep for wool and the county's famous cheeses, most notably cheddar, are traditional practices here. Somerset also boasts the smallest English city, Wells, whose 12th century cathedral was the first in England to be built in the Gothic style.
Buying a house here in Somerset can be an expensive business. The average price for a detached property here is around £265,000. That's around £10,000 above the national figure. Now, hotspots in the northeast of the county include beautiful Wells and Castle Carey, where you're paying for good train links into London. Likewise, head towards the south of the county and you expect to pay around a 10% premium for desirable villages such as Hinton St George and Dowlish Wake. So, if you want your money to stretch that bit further, you should head to villages such as Ilton or Stoke-sub-Hampton, where prices there are around 10% below the county average. But no matter where you look, you're sure to find a wealth of period properties on offer.
In Somerset, the ground under your feet is made up of different types of rock depending on where you are in the county. Limestone, evident in the immense gorges around Cheddar, is by far the most prolific building material. The honey-coloured stone was used to construct great Georgian properties as well as 2-bed cottages, which can be found for under £200,000. Or if you prefer to live in a cool blue property made of blue limestone, then head towards the levels around Glastonbury or the Polden Hills. Currently on the market for just under £450,000, this 5-bed period cottage in Pedwell is typical of the area.
Time to meet today's buyers to find out exactly what's going to tempt them to this county.
Accountant Michael and retired head teacher Kathy have been married for over 30 years and have brought up their 3 children in Dulwich, South London. They've lived in their 4-bedroom Edwardian house all of that time, but with the encouragement of their family, they're looking for a change of scenery in the country as they spend more time together.
I am retired and I'm hoping to start enjoying retirement, especially with the move on the cards, and seeing a bit more of Michael, although of course that could be disastrous.
The idea is that when we move I'm going to start working from home, and so far when we've been talking about it, Kathy's been finding little sheds at the bottom of the garden. The idea is that I will go to work, not to just be in the house.
And there'll be more than just Michael's work in their new property. They're planning on taking in paying guests too.
We've always wanted to do a B&B, and I think it's a good sort of halfway house for me in that I will have an opportunity to be with people, but they won't be there all the time. And the other thing is we would love to be able to offer respite care, because both our families have had situations where somebody has been a very long-term carer for somebody who's been very ill. And we've seen how the commitment isn't always balanced out with opportunity for respite for the carer. So we would like to be able to offer that as part of the package. So the idea of the B&B is sort of business plan A to subsidise business plan B, which is the respite.
We'd probably be looking to rent out 2 rooms, because we don't want to load ourselves up and finish up running yourself down to the ground when you're trying to retire or trying to enjoy life.
They've settled on the county of Somerset for their new venture, as it's a doable commute from London once a week for Michael. And they'll be making the most of their time off too, inside and out.
Now I have a bit more time for gardening.
I'm very good at digging holes in gardens.
Very good, and you're getting much better at weeding. I love cooking, and I've done a butchery course.
Making the move with them will be their dog Max, who they hope will be playing a part in their new community.
What I'd like to do is find a special needs school and take the dog in there, because I qualified in special needs, and I just think it would be great. So that will link my teaching with having the dog as well.
The house is on the market, and money-minded Michael knows what's in the wallet for the next phase of their lives.
The budget for the move is £550,000.
Michael and Kathy would like their new rural home to be in the areas surrounding the cities of Bath or Wells. And they'll need a good rail link for Michael to have a maximum 2-hour commute to London once a week. They've come to Somerset to give me a clear picture of what they want from their new home in the country.
So welcome both of you to very bright, if not a little bit breezy, Somerset.
Thank you very much.
No, it's obviously it's beautiful around here. So let's talk about the environment that this home for you and B&B is going to be placed in.
Yes.
Where do you want it to be? I mean, do you want it in the middle of this beautiful countryside or closer to a population?
We'd like to be in or on the edge of a village for preference, purely because we'd like some facilities available.
And how many bedrooms do you want for your own accommodation then?
So really 4 bedrooms would be a good number.
All right, let's briefly talk about the must-haves.
Must have room for a large cooker. I'm going to be leaving my range behind in London.
So we're looking for a substantial property then?
Yes, it is.
So it's going to be either a big 4 or 5 bedroom house, or a house maybe with an annex or something like that. Would you look at that?
Yes,
Yes, we certainly would.
Let's talk about budget, because you know it's not a cheap part of the world.
No.
Yes.
What are we looking at?
About 550,000.
Right, okay. There's a lot that you require.
Yes.
I think we can service your requirements to a large extent, because we've only got 3 opportunities.
Okay.
Okay?
Good.
Let's get started, shall we?
Thank
Let's
you.
do this way.
Lovely.
For their budget of £550,000, Michael and Kathy are looking for a home that can also be a business. Ideally, they'd like a Georgian-style property, enough reception rooms to share out between them and the guests, a spacious kitchen, a minimum of 4 bedrooms so they can rent out 2 of them, and a large garden. We've got 3 fantastic properties with real potential to show them, and at each one I'll be asking them to guess the price tag. Last up will be our mystery house, which could prove to be a ready-made delight. But before that, we're off to house number 1.
So, whose idea was it to run a B&B?
The boss.
Oh right, yours is it, Kat? Is this a long-held ambition?
Yeah.
Right. I mean, you've dealt with children all your working career. Have you not had enough of people yet?
Well, I have a naughty step.
Right.
So it's going to be a very sort of tailored B&B.
Okay. So,
Any nonsense, don't eat the boiled eggs on the naughty step.
right, it's going to be a disciplined B&B by the sound of it.
Yes.
For our first property, we've made the journey close to the village of Wedmore, around 8 miles west of Wells. When Michael needs to travel to London, he could catch the train from Weston-super-Mare or Bristol. Situated on the Somerset levels between the rivers Axe and Brew, Wedmore has an impressive Grade 1 listed church, which for the most part dates back to the 15th century. Other amenities include a pub that serves food, a pizza restaurant and a local shop. Set in a secluded position within the Mendip Hills in the nearby hamlet of Nyland is our first offering, a former farmhouse built in the 1700s with an Edwardian extension.
Now then, for the first property, we're going semi-detached. But it's not your bog standard semi-detached by any means. This is it. What's your first impression?
Neat shape.
Yes.
Yes. And it's got the views.
Well, yeah, it's not sure on views. Behind that house
Yes.
are views of the Mendips.
Yes.
Fantastic. Lovely.
So, what you see so far, Michael?
I think it's a good possibility.
Let's go home now. That sounds great. I'll show you inside. Come on.
The great rural views are selling this property to Kathy right from the outset. And as we head inside, I'm going to show them a room that I think they'll be spending a lot of time in.
Now, I know this is a very important room for you guys, so
Nice and wide. Space. Yes.
almost Georgian in proportions, one might have.
One might say, yes. No, good start. Lovely.
So not only have you got your kitchen area here, through there you've got a fantastic utility.
Oh, that's
There was an old dairy.
Oh.
So everything's out the way and a ground floor loo. But then through that archway there, you've got a really nice sunroom. Well, conservatory really.
Oh, we haven't got that. That sounds good.
Okay, good. I know we're looking at the B&B aspect as well, but you know, this is about you guys, and I think this part of the house is just yours. Forget about the guests. So that conservatory room through there, that's a reading room for you guys, or maybe a formal dining room, whatever you want it to be.
Lovely. Certainly move into this, and it will be a good family
Yes, that's
room.
what I was thinking.
So far, the downstairs of this former farmhouse is really impressing them, and I think they'll love the character and history of the next room too.
Now, if you please hear, you have a choice of reception rooms. This, I think, is just for you. This is a really old part of the property. Now, a local historian has been here, and the previous owners have passed down the same story, that they think this could have been some form of chapel.
It's got a lovely feel to the room. It's calm.
It is.
And I like that calmness.
Let's look upstairs to the bedrooms.
Also on the ground floor and across the hall from this sitting room is a formal dining room which might work well as a guest's breakfast area. And we haven't forgotten that Michael will be working from home, so there's a small study next door in a quiet corner. But now for the upstairs, which I think is going to give them more than they bargained for, with 6 bedrooms over 2 floors.
Now, this bedroom is by no means the biggest, but I think this is a good place to start.
That's good size. Again, splendid views.
Look at that view.
Wake up and see that in the morning.
Yes.
Now, this is pure letting bedroom.
Yes.
It's got a small ensuite, basically a shower and loo.
Yes.
You've got room for a cabinet each side of the bed, which all the guides want you to have. It's space-wise as much as anything else, and room for some storage.
There's a guest room, I think this is more than adequate.
Yes, I believe so.
Very good.
Fantastic.
We're up here on the first floor. You've got a much bigger room at the other end, which is a fantastic big ensuite. You can almost make that a family room. So you've got 2 ensuites to go with now. You've also got 2 standard rooms, 2 smallish rooms. You can knock into one, and another smaller room next door.
Right.
So you've got at least 4 bedrooms here. Excellent.
Good.
With 2 ensuites as well as a family bathroom on this floor, there are ample facilities for guests or family. What's more, there's another stunning bedroom on the floor above, to which they could add an ensuite and let out, or use as their master. With all the accommodation covered, let's head outside to take a look at the lovely terraced garden, which comes with a double garage and a workshop that could be converted to make another office option for Michael.
So, you've got enough garden here, I'm hoping.
Yes.
So who wants to guess the price first?
I think it's slightly over budget, but not too far over budget. So I would say somewhere around about the £560,000 mark.
Okay. Kathy?
540.
Straight in. Well, got some good news for you then. This house is on the market for offers around £499,950.
That's very good.
It's very good value for money.
Seems it, doesn't it?
I'm surprised.
Go and have a good look around this house. Maybe bear in mind how much money you might be saving from your budget and think what changes you might want to make. And I'll see you whenever you're finished.
Lovely. Thank
All
you.
right, see you in a moment.
Well within their budget at just under £500,000, this period farmhouse gets us off to a great start with its huge kitchen, a choice of 4 reception rooms including a conservatory, 6 potential bedrooms, 2 ensuite bathrooms with the option for 1 more in the attic room, and a terrace garden with views of the Mendips.
The kitchen is very important to us. It had ample space, and then with the utility room off the kitchen and then the conservatory, it gave plenty of space to move around for family,
So the ground floor gives us ample space to be running it as a business and also for family use.
The ensuite room on the first floor that is already made for guests. You've got the south aspect and people waking up in the morning with those beautiful views. I think it would be bringing people back to stay again.
Now then, how'd you go on inside?
Very nice.
Still good?
Yes,
Yes, very much.
still good.
Well, it's testament to the hard work this guy's put into this place. In the last 5 years, after buying it derelict, he spent £120,000 on it.
Good grief.
So, someone's going to benefit from that.
Yes.
Maybe it's you. Let's go.
Maybe.
Both on the coast and inland, Somerset has been defined by its relationship to water. Coursing through every part of the county, it can be traced through the willow industry, its watermills, and in the names of its spa towns, Bath and Wells. Nature has also carved out some spectacular geological sites here, like the caves at Wookey Hole on the southern edge of the Mendip Hills. These were formed through erosion of the limestone by the River Axe, and were once home to ancient Britons. Today they are a popular tourist attraction, and as Kathy and Michael are looking to entice visitors to their new B&B, we sent them to have a look around for themselves with the help of guide Mark O'Callaghan.
Do you know when the caves were first occupied by man?
Yes, well, these caves were lived in 2,000 years ago, or over 2,000 years ago, by Iron Age people, and they were known as the Celts, until eventually Anglo-Saxon invaders chased them away from the area. Once they abandoned the cave, it was empty then for a very long time, until an old woman lived in the cave, and that was over 1,000 years ago. And it's around that old woman that the story of the witch has grown up.
Oh, right.
Legend says she terrorised the villagers, and crops would fail for no reason, and people would disappear, and it's said that the villagers decided to get rid of her, and they summoned a monk from Glastonbury Abbey, which is a few miles away. After a fierce argument with the old woman, he picked up some water from one of the pools and blessed it, and then threw that holy water upon the witch, and she turned to stone.
As well as consigning the witch to her mythical and watery fate, as supposedly illustrated by this effigy in rock, the river also provided the clean, high pH water that was so vital in the making of paper. This local mill has been in operation since 1610, making it the oldest paper mill in Britain. By Victorian times, it was also the largest in Europe, using cotton fibres in a pulpy mulch known as stuff.
So the tool that we use to make the paper is called the mould. It's basically a very fine mesh with a frame that goes over the top called the decal. And if you'd like to hold the mould and the decal there and dip it into the stuff right underneath, and then bring it up and give it a shake from side to side, and the fibres join together on the surface of the mould. And then if you put it back here, Michael, and take the decal off the top, and Kathy, if you'd like to now lay the sheet of paper onto the felt, give it a firm press, and then roll it off.
This way?
That's right. And that's called couching the paper.
Oh.
This couching process would be repeated over and over again by the papermaker until the pile had grown tall enough to place in a hydraulic press, which squeezed out the excess water. Then the paper would be hung on ropes to dry for around 5 days.
Can you tell me what the paper's used for?
Well, in the old days, they used to make a lot of banknote paper, and during the American Civil War, Wookey Hole made the banknotes for the Confederate States of America.
The mill reached its peak of production in 1900, but by that time, most papermaking had already been mechanised. The last paper was made here at Wookey Hole around 5 years ago. So, having experienced a taste of local history, it's time to fast forward to the present as we resume Michael and Kathy's house search. Our second property lies in the village of High Littleton. For Michael's once-a-week commute, it's 20 minutes from his Bath to Paddington rail connection. The community has a Grade 2 listed church, as well as a local shop and post office. There's also a pub which could be a useful draw for their B&B guests. Our second property makes the most of the facilities on offer as it's right in the centre of the village. Built around the 1840s, it's constructed of local Bath stone.
Now this, as you can see, completely different environment.
Like the windows.
But let's talk about the location, because that's the big thing. Right in the heart of the village, with one of the main thoroughfares at the end of your drive.
Yes, I noticed. Let's see what it's like at the house.
For traffic
Oh,
noise.
yes.
Okay. Let's enjoy this house because it feels completely different. Let's go.
Let's go.
They built these houses with thick walls back in the 1840s, so I know that Kathy and Michael will be pleasantly surprised at how peaceful this robust stone property is inside.
So then, straight into, what, a pretty sizable living room.
Very big.
I like it.
I think it's a nice light room.
By the looks of it, this probably would have been 2 rooms at the least. You've got 2
Yes.
huge fireplaces, almost England-looking size
Yes.
at the end of it. So, one big living room. Do you like the idea of that?
If we were going to be having this as a living space for ourselves and a facility for bed and breakfast people, then I can see that's going to be a problem.
Yeah, I think you've got options. But one thing to bear in mind, if you've got a door there, you might want to do something with this door here, but road noise.
True.
Vastly different.
Isn't it?
Yes,
Isn't it?
yes,
It's very quiet.
it is.
Yes.
It is.
Okay, let's look in the kitchen.
So with their minds at rest about that aspect of the house, we're taking a look at where all the culinary action will be taking place.
Right then, not as big as the first house's kitchen.
No.
It's still a dining kitchen, but
It
here's the
is.
thing, you've got a dining room straight off.
Yes.
Oh,
And that's a breakfast room or a dining room, of course it is. You've got those patio doors straight out, which means you keep your living room to yourself again.
yes.
For a cook's kitchen or a chef's kitchen, I think you've got it all. You've got a massive range.
It's huge. It appears a workable space and a good cook's area.
Yes, it doesn't need any changes
Not me,
immediately, does it?
But here are where the options become apparent. Through that door there is another third of the property, an annex, if you like.
I'll let them have a look at the annex later, but I know they'll be impressed at the respite potential for carers here. There's plenty of space to relax in the reception room, and it also has a small kitchen. Upstairs there's a bedroom and a small box room, as well as a shower room. And there's access to the main house through the sitting room, although it does have its own separate front door. But we're going to take a look at what's on offer upstairs in the main house.
Right then, this is one of 4 bedrooms on this floor.
Right.
Double. Very nice.
All doubles. 2 of the bedrooms are en suite.
Fantastic.
And then you've got a family bathroom almost behind you.
Right.
One would suggest that this is ready to rock and roll for at least 2 of the bedrooms. If you
Yeah.
had the family bathroom to yourself and one of the
Yes.
other bedrooms.
It's a lovely light room.
Size-wise though, I think this is probably your best room.
Right.
Generous size.
Okay? We'll head down the stairs.
After you.
Thanks.
With the sleeping accommodation all mapped out, there's just one more element to resolve, and that's an office for Michael to work from home. So we're heading outside where I think we might have found just the thing. Alongside a large garage and a lovely enclosed garden, there's a barn ripe for conversion.
There's room for chickens.
That's all we ever need, isn't it?
And there's room for Max the dog.
Perfect. Now Michael, you're working 1 day a week up in London and then from home the rest of
4
the time.
days a week at home.
How about converting that for an office?
That would be, I think, more than adequate.
I'm glad you said that. Let's summarise what we've got here. We've got the big house with its annex,
Yes.
then this outbuilding that is, well, to use estate agents' parlance, ripe for conversion.
Yes.
Yes.
How'd you price it? Right in the heart of a village.
Hopefully it'll be under our budget, and I would like it to be around 535, more so in hope.
Okay, so Kathy, 535 from Michael. Any advances?
I think with a close proximity to Bath, we could be looking at top of budget 550.
Well, the asking price for this house is offers around £499,950.
No.
Again. Yeah?
Oh, that's a Betsy.
That's unbelievable. Good find. good
Yes.
find. It is extraordinary to have this amount of property in this situation.
Well, now's your opportunity to look around the whole property.
Yes.
I'll meet you whenever it's finished. I expect it to probably be dark when you're done, but do not worry, all right?
Thank you.
I'll catch you in a moment.
Thank you.
Priced at just under £500,000, well within their budget, there's a great deal of house for their money here. It comprises of a large reception room with fireplace, a kitchen diner, and along with 4 bedrooms in the main house, there's an adjoining 1-bed self-contained annex. What's more, within the garden, there's an outbuilding which, with the right consents, could work as an office for Michael.
The outside of the building is very attractive. It appealed to me very much, and I found it just a house that was asking me to come in, a home.
I must admit, I'm slightly puzzled as to whether we would continue to have this as a bed and breakfast, allowing for the fact you also have the annex with its own catering area. And it may be that, after discussion with Kathy, that we decide to use this part of the house purely for ourselves and use the annex purely as a letting area.
So, big enough project for the future?
I think so, yes.
Now, has he given you something to compare against the first house?
Oh, definitely.
Quite different.
Good.
Different feel,
Yeah?
different components ticked.
Ticks is all we want to hear, isn't it?
Yes.
Now, there's just enough light left to hopefully enjoy maybe even the sunset on the drive home.
Excellent.
Let's go. I'd like to think that last night Kathy and Michael went to sleep pleasantly surprised with what they saw, having seen 2 properties that, well, satisfied a lot of their extensive wish list. So this morning, I think we can afford to mix it up a little bit. Ask our buyers to think laterally, which of course is what the Mystery House is all about, isn't it?
For our mystery property, we've strayed way out of their preferred search area and close to the town of Crewe Kern near the Dorset border. The good news for Michael is that it still has convenient train links to London. The community has all the facilities that a lively market town should offer, with plenty of shops and places to eat and drink. Very appealing for any potential guests at Michael and Kathy's B&B. Our mystery property is 1.5 miles out of town in the hamlet of Hewish. It's an impressive house built around 1638 from the local Hamstone. And this time, although the home might need a bit of renovation, we're giving them a business that's already up and running.
Now, I have been looking forward to showing you this house, and here we are.
It's lovely.
That is
That's lovely.
Stunning.
Gorgeous garden as well.
Yeah, it isn't it? So let's first of all focus on you, your new home. Mm-hmm. Is this somewhere you'd like to come home to?
Definitely.
Yes, definitely.
I pretty much knew you would say that. Let's go inside.
So the period grandeur of this house clearly appeals to our buyers. Inside they'll find plenty of character, but as they'll find out later, there's a bit of work to do. We're going to take a look at our first reception area, which leads off the hallway.
Okay then, what do you make of this living room?
Well, it's cosy. In a good way. In a good way.
Yeah, I think most people say cosy when they think small, but it's not small, is it?
No. It's a good sociable room. You could be in here with a couple of friends, glass of wine in front of the fire. Nice, usable space.
Behind us we've got a good-sized dining room. Mm-hmm. Again, I think that dining room is only for you guys still.
Yes. Lovely view of the garden through there as well.
Yeah. Okay.
Lovely.
Now, projects, a bit more than a little bit of work, are towards this end. Let me show you.
And here is where we find out just how open they are to doing some renovation.
Now, you've got a space here. Now keep that in mind when you see the kitchen.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. So I did say projects, and this is that.
Yes.
This is a project.
Yeah.
Bijou.
Yeah, compact and bijou, I believe. Yeah. Yes. Now, size-wise, tell me, Kathy. Yeah. I know. I was thinking, you've got a whole load of room behind this where you can build a new kitchen with some.
Right.
You've got a utility and a downstairs shower room and some other rooms here.
So we could look at the whole footprint and then
Yes.
work from there. I wouldn't jump into things straight away, but I'd consult an architect and...
Yeah. Now, upstairs you've got 3 really good-sized double bedrooms, one of which is en suite, although I think at the moment that's just your accommodation still, because this is an up-and-running B&B.
All right.
Fabulous.
But why don't I let you see that yourselves later?
Yes.
Let's go and take a look at the B&B, shall we?
Great.
Okay.
Moving past the utility area, there's a separate dining room which would be perfect for guests as the French doors lead across a courtyard to the annex. And I think this is really going to impress.
Squeaky door, Michael's first job.
I like this.
I wasn't quite expecting this from the outside.
Definitely works.
Surprise! Absolute, complete surprise. Beams, but they work.
Yes, don't they just? This is the old cow barns. Now, next door is a twin room, slightly bigger, just as nice, maybe even nicer, you never know.
Yeah, I'm just completely taken aback. Not what I expected at all.
And these have ensuite.
Both rooms, both letting bedrooms, this and next door are en suite.
Very good.
I'm truly surprised.
Each room she charges around £70 per night, B&B.
That's a good rate. It's
No.
lovely.
Careful what you wish for, because sometimes a mystery property delivers it.
So they've been stunned by the B&B rooms, but this property has so much more potential. With the right permissions, this outbuilding could become another letting bedroom, or it could be just the place for Michael to have as his office.
So with that room next door there, and this here, well, it's a pottery, as you can see.
Yes.
What I like about this property, the Mystery House is giving you here lots of options.
It is.
But if you can, and it's going to be a little guess, let's start having a guess of the price, all right?
It will be a guess.
The house stands in a plot of 1/3 of an acre and has a pretty wraparound garden.
So now, Kathy, you can see you've got space for your veggies,
Yes.
maybe some chickens.
Yes.
Yes.
So, how do you price this place?
I don't know.
Good luck. I tell you, good luck.
I'd go 510.
Okay.
So I was going to go 520.
Okay, well, this time you've gone under. The asking price for this house is this time slightly above your guesses, £545,000. All right?
Yes.
But on speaking to the agents, they reckon that, well, they're expecting to settle just below the stamp duty threshold.
Just below the 500.
Yeah, just below £500,000.
Very good.
No guarantees, but
No.
you would be getting an awful lot of property for that, wouldn't you?
We would. We would.
And also an up and running income already.
So now I'm sure you're dying to see the upstairs of the main house and
Yes.
look around all the property, maybe again. Go and do that now.
Thank
All
you.
the time you need.
Thank you.
Under budget to £545,000, but with a good chance of success if they made a lower offer, our Mystery House provides them with a generous home as well as an up-and-running B&B. It includes a large sitting room, the potential to create Kathy's perfect kitchen, a useful guest breakfast room, and 3 bedrooms for them along with 2 existing letting rooms. Finally, there's loads of scope to develop the outbuilding into further accommodation or to use as an office for Michael.
When we came to the Mystery House, I thought it looked absolutely fantastic. It was the kind of house that I'd always imagined having in the country. Overall, the house itself, I would say, would make a fantastic home for myself and Kathy.
As we walked through the garden towards the B&B, it gave no hint at all to what was behind the doors. It's already an established business, up and running, would give immediate income. I mean, it's the sort of thing we would be proud to call our business.
You know, I was just thinking this house would be absolutely gorgeous in the summer with this red ivy, wouldn't it?
It would be.
Fabulous.
So, all done?
Yes, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Let's go.
Somerset lays claim to a rich and varied food heritage, ranging from Exmoor lamb to cider manufacture, and of course, dairy produce. Indeed, the area around the village of Cheddar has been at the centre of England's dairy industry since at least the 15th century. Originally, cheese had to be made within 30 miles of Wells Cathedral in order to be called cheddar. Today, just 14 makers are licensed to use the name West Country Farmhouse Cheddar, which under the EU has protected designation of origin status. I went to meet artisan cheese producer John Spencer, who since 2003 has been pivotal in bringing cheddar cheese production back to the village where it all started.
The making of this cheddar, I understand it's called cheddaring.
part of the process is called cheddaring. There's lots of different processes in it. What cheese making is about turning a liquid into a solid. So what cheddaring does is squeeze even more moisture out of it.
As the biggest influence on the taste of the cheese comes from the milk, John uses just one local farm as his main source. After donning my protective overalls and hat, I went to get involved in some hands-on, unmechanised cheese making.
So, I can see all this whey draining away. What's the next process?
Well, now this is the start of cheddaring. So we'll let it settle down a bit and then cut it into blocks and start turning it. So now we need to leave it for about 5-10 minutes and we'll come back to it.
Okay.
Cheddaring is a continual process of manipulating the curd, cutting it, turning it, piling it up and pressing it, all this to ensure the maximum amount of whey is removed. It was clearly popular with Scott of the Antarctic, who took 3,500 pounds of cheddar cheese with him on his famous expedition in 1901.
It's got an amazing texture. It's like when I overcook my scrambled eggs.
Yeah, but you can see the difference in texture straight away.
So, you do your cheddaring.
Yeah.
Then
you mill the cheese,
right,
which is ripping it up into small bits so you can distribute salt in it. It then gets shoveled into the moulds, and then onto the press.
Right.
That stays there overnight. Then we take it out and we dip them in hot water, and that's to make sure you've got a plastic type surface so that when you put them back in the mould you get a really nice smooth finish on the rind.
It almost seals it then.
That's right.
Okay.
And then the next day you take them out and you dress them in muslin.
Right.
And you put them back on the press again. And then the next day you take them out, you cover them with butter or lard, and then they go in the store.
Some of the cheddar cheese here is matured in the caves of Cheddar Gorge, just as local cheesemakers did centuries ago.
Why on earth are you storing it in a damp, dark cave?
Because what you really want is you want a constant temperature, which the caves give us, but you also want as high a humidity as you can get. So the water dripping through the limestone gives us virtually 100% humidity all year round. Now if I try this one, you'll probably find you get different textures coming out. So let's break a bit off, that's it.
This has almost got, I don't know if I'm right, this felt like I had a tang straight away before I got the matured taste as well.
You don't just get one flavour, you get another flavour, and that's the unpasteurised milk.
Well, John, it's a fascinating process and a rather tasty one as well. Thank you very much for your time.
You're more than welcome.
See you again. Well, I'm sure that's tempted the taste buds of any cheese lovers out there. Time now to catch up with our buyers to see if any of the properties we've chosen have matured in their minds. A huge move from the Big Smoke to Somerset.
Yes.
Have we put you off, or are you even more enthused?
No?
Definitely enthused.
Good. So let's start at the beginning. The first house, very rural, you know, half of a farmhouse really, wasn't it?
Yes,
it was.
yes.
Yes.
Fantastic views. There was far more to it than you initially thought. It wasn't a disjointed building, even though it was built in differing periods. It was a really good sized kitchen.
Yeah.
My thoughts are that it was possibly too isolated, just by the fact that there's only 3 or 4 houses around.
Okay. So like a pendulum, we swang the other way in the afternoon.
Completely the
A
other
village
way.
property.
Yes. It was in the heart of everything, within walking distance. Completely different from the first location.
I was quite worried when we were there that although when you're in the house it's very, very quiet, I could imagine on a nice summer's evening and want to sit out in the garden, and that road could be very, very busy, I would imagine.
It's lovely. It was cosy, warm, homely.
But once we'd seen the main body of the house, we then went, well, next door to what was called an annex. It was almost a semi-detached bolted on, wasn't it?
Yes, yes.
Oh, that was wonderful.
Yeah, very well
Beautifully
done. So hopefully, 2 houses to ponder yesterday evening, and then we went to the mystery house today. Outside your target zone
Yes.
of around Wells.
Yes.
It's a beautiful, beautiful house, and sitting so comfortably in its own surroundings. It's just lovely. It was a good bridge between the elements of the first 2 properties.
What about inside the house?
Inside, there's some work to be done, but it's doable.
I could see there was definitely the potential to do stuff there and make it as we wanted it.
And then, it's an up and running bed and breakfast business. Already 2 rooms you could let out.
What a surprise when you walk in. No indication at all about what's the other side of the door. And it was stunning in there.
We've looked at 3 very different properties in very different locations. Do you have a favourite?
The mystery property.
Yeah?
Yes, definitely.
Definitely.
Yes.
It's an interesting project. It's a building with history that deserves to be cared for. And it's a challenge that interests me.
So what's next for you guys?
Well, we're going to go back and have a look around the area.
Good idea.
If the area's as good as it feels, we'll have a second viewing.
Good luck looking around the area. It's a very sensible thing to do, but do let us know what you do.
It's got us hooked.
Good. Job done. Good luck.
Thank you.
Thank you very much indeed. Well, it probably doesn't come as a great surprise to hear that yesterday morning when we stood atop the Mendip Hills and I was listening to Kathy and Michael reel off their, how do I put it, extensive shopping list, I was more than a little bit worried. But this morning, after taking them both away from their initial target search area and asking them to think laterally, which of course is what the mystery property is all about, you know what? I think we might have just cracked it. I certainly hope so. See you next time.
If you'd like to escape to the country in Scotland, Wales, Northern Ireland or England and need our help, please apply online at bbc.co.uk/Be On A Show.
अच्छा भैया, हमार बहुत गाना आप लोग सुनला और प्यार दुलार देला। ए जैसे हम गायक शैलेंद्र कनौजिया आप लोगन के गोड़ छू के गोड़ लगातानी और पूरा विश्वास बा कि यहो गीत के उहे प्यार दुलार दी हैं जौना प्यार दुलार पहलका एल्बम के दिले रहने जा। लागे ठागे चोर गिरी जाना ही जाइबे, लागे ठागे चोर गिरी जाना ही जाइबे, लागे ठागे